Lamala, is the sentence that you stopped at once you have contemplated well the great value and difficulty?
Where I stopped?
Yeah, you were giving me a sentence, and I think I'm
Well,
there.
the last sentence is, for that reason, if one Buddha is working for our benefit, all Buddhas are necessarily working for our benefit.
Okay.
That's not it. But he is not only a Buddha, he is the embodiment of all Buddhas. That's where Tricula ended.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Not where I ended. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Tom, that's right at the top of 394 on the iBook. You got it? Cool.
Okay. Now we're all in the right place. Thank you, Venerable Lama. I had it a paragraph before that.
Well, what's even crazier is that's page 170 in my book.
Oh, well.
And it's page 208 in my book. So.
Okay, so let's start by setting our motivation for doing the practice today. In addition to doing the preliminary prayers and so forth. So first of all, of course, we should be very grateful and thank the Kadampa Center for hosting this Zoom meeting so that we're able to study the commentary on the teachings of Jetsong Kappa, which is extremely rare, difficult to find, and that we can not only meet the teaching, but we can follow along and understand, even superficially, the meanings of the words. How wonderful, how precious that is. And on top of that, the cherry on the top would be that we're doing this at the request of our teacher. So we're fulfilling his wish, which plants a seed and imprints to have a precious, fully qualified Mahana virtuous friend in this life and all our future lives. Of course, everyone on the prayer list for world peace, to eradicate the coronavirus and all diseases. And for the liberation of all sentient beings, and so that they may achieve full enlightenment, Buddhahood, very, very quickly, without resistance, joyfully. Now I'm going to share the screen for our preliminary prayers, which have been abbreviated again at the request of our teacher, Geshe Gelek. Okay, so let's begin. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit I create the listening to the Dharma, May I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened, to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merit I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. This ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is the Buddha field and offering. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. O holy and perfect pure Lama, from the clouds of compassion that form in the skies of your Dharmakaya wisdom, please release a rain of vast and profound Dharma, precisely in accordance with the needs of those to be trained. Idam Guru Ratamandalakam Niryatayami. Okay, and so now, stop sharing. And so the text that we are reading is the essence of the vast and profound, a commentary on Jetsun Kampa's middle-length treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment by Abonka Rinpoche.
Venerable Lama, before you begin, I just want to make an announcement. I think we've got almost everybody here. Just to let you all know that beginning next week for the following 4 weeks, we won't have Lamrim class with Geshe on Wednesday nights. Venerable Robina is going to be visiting. I apologize for this. We booked Venerable Robina back in January at a time when Geshe thought he was going to be away in August, and those travel plans fell through. But in the meantime, we had booked her. So we will not have Lamrim class for the next month, but then Geshe will return to us in September, and he will still be teaching on Sunday mornings. It's just the Wednesday nights that we have Venerable Robina coming in. And I hope to see you all there. Thanks, Venerable Lama.
Thank you, Domasi. So if you have the hard copy, we are on page 198 at the end of the first full paragraph. And then if you have an electronic version, we're in the section in day 10, titled, In These Degenerate Times, Buddhas Continue to Work for the Welfare of Living Beings. And we're at the end of the second paragraph, where the quote from Lama Chirpa begins. Lama Chirpa states, I prostrate at the feet of the holy refuge and protector as the exalted wisdom all the infinite conquers, displaying the aspect of saffron robe monk, your skillful means appear according to the needs of your disciples. The ornament of the Mahayana Sutras states that the exalted wisdom of the Buddhas has coalesced as one taste in the truth body, just as separate drops of water from each individual country in this world have gathered together within the ocean. Thus all the Buddhas reveal various aspects from the single taste of the Dhammadhatu. The meeting of the Father and Son Sutra states, working for the welfare of living beings, they appear in the shape of Indra and Brahma. Some are in the shape of a demon, yet the worldly are unable to recognize them. They act in the shape of a woman, and they also take birth in the abodes of animals. The Kadam scripture states, since they reveal various emanations, why wouldn't they appear as arrogant beings who pretend to have knowledge they don't possess? And since they also reveal themselves in whatever aspect is beneficial, why wouldn't they emanate even as a wise man or a crazy person? In general, we are incapable of determining that even our father and mother and so forth are not emanations of the Buddha. The Buddha primarily works for our welfare, applying various means to help us generate a single aspect of virtue and overcome a single aspect of non-virtue. Yet this is accomplished primarily through teaching us to adopt virtue and abandon non-virtue through teaching Dharma. Therefore, since it is our Guru himself who carries this out, he is a Buddha. Since his deeds have the knowledge and capacity of an enlightened being, we should decide with utter certainty that he is a Buddha. Our perceptions are unreliable. You may think, well then, if my Guru is a Buddha, I should see him as a Buddha. Yet I don't see him as such, therefore he isn't a Buddha. It is only due to our current lack of good fortune that we do not see him in this way. As long as we are not free from the obscuring veils of our bad actions, even if all the Buddhas appear directly before us, With the exception of what we currently perceive, we would not have the good fortune to perceive their supreme emanation bodies adorned with the signs and indications of an enlightened being. This being said, what need is there to mention meeting the Buddhas face to face? Although they reveal the aspect of higher beings such as Manjushri, we do not perceive them. That being the case, if the Buddhas appeared in an aspect superior to that of the Guru we have right now, we would be unable to perceive them. If they revealed themselves in an inferior aspect, such as that of a bird, dog, or some other type of animal, we wouldn't have any confidence in them. Therefore, it is due to their wondrous skillful means that they emanate in an aspect similar to ours with the same bodily features. In general, merely perceiving our Guru as a Buddha or not does not mean that he definitely is or isn't a Buddha. Chandrakirti's Guide to the Middle Way proclaims, similar to a person with obscured sense powers, the mind of a hungry ghost perceives a flowing river as pus. When the water of this world is perceived simultaneously by God, human, and hungry ghost, each being perceives a single basis as nectar, water, and pus and blood, respectively. To a God, it does not appear as pus and blood. Likewise, it does not appear as nectar to the hungry ghost. With the Guru as well, even though you don't perceive him as a Buddha, you should not think that he is not a Buddha. For example, worldly gods, nagas, king spirits, and Zen spirits emerge to influence and affect castles and so forth. However, despite the fact that the nagas, king spirits, and Zen spirits definitely exist, we do not see them. If I were to explain this in detail to this point, I would apply the overprovision of non-observation from the commentary on valid cognition to gain certainty. Moreover, for someone with bile disease, silver and a white conch appear to be yellow. For those with the wind disorder, a white snow mountain will appear blue and so forth, due to being influenced by momentary causes of confusion. Therefore, when we entertain doubts such as, is he or isn't he a Buddha, we should realize that the mistake is ultimately being made from within us, whereby we contaminate our perceptions, whereas the Guru is actually free from faults. Once we project the blame on the modes of appearance from our confused viewpoint with anger, attachment, and so on, we perceive them as having faults. Although we project our faults on the Guru and rank him among our companions, we are incapable of determining whether or not he is a Buddha. The Bhagavan stated, only I or someone such as myself can judge an individual. An ordinary being cannot judge another ordinary being, for they will certainly deteriorate. Not only that, but we are extremely fortunate to even see our Guru as a human being. Chengawa Lodro Gyaltsen said, due to the vast degree of our obscuring bad karma, it is a joyful occasion that we can even see our Guru as a human being. We have great merit to not see him as a donkey, a dog or a donkey, therefore devout heartfelt faith and devotion, son of a Shakya. Most non-Buddhists could not perceive the signs and indications of our teacher and instead saw him as an ordinary being, yet Buddha saw him adorned with the signs and indications. Moreover, Pancha Naropa saw Mahasiddhi Tilopa as someone frying live fish and wondered whether someone like that could really be Tilopa, at which point Tilopa said, I am not, and so forth. Tilopa was the actual conqueror of Vajradhara, yet all the people in the area didn't see him as anything more than an old beggar. Getsu Chembua saw a leper woman as Vajravarahi. When Acharya Pudnashana met Acharya Manjushri Mitra, he saw him as an old disrobed monk wearing a turban and so forth, yet even though he was in actuality Guhya Samaja. Since such a variety of things occur, we cannot rely upon our perception of external features. Mila also saw Marpa as a plowman. Tilopa saw Shawari as a murderer of pigs. Although Milarepa attained the state of Vajradhara in one life, in one body, and is the actual Vajradhara, Nara, Bonchung, and others could see him as anything more than a vulgar old beggar lying naked on the ground, as is cited extensively. With the exception of a few holy beings such as Kyabchog, Palsangpo, and others, no one else could perceive the special qualities of Gyalwa and Sapa. Instead, they called him the madman from Ensap. They could not see anything other than an ordinary monk. When Ensapa was in Songrong, he heard a few Shakya scholars debating some difficult points and spoke some verses from the Perfection of Wisdom in 8,000 lines in Sanskrit, causing the Shakyapas to think he was a ghost. The oath-bound Dharma Raja would disguise himself as a human and come into the presence of Jetsong Kappa to receive teachings. Je Rinpoche Tsongkhapa was on the verge of giving some Dharma teachings on the profound essential points of mantra when Dharma Raja stopped him. Although Gunguru Yanzang was not pleased, Khedrubje scolded him and said, Kachu, don't get yourself so worked up. Maitreya appeared to Asanga as a rotting female dog and so forth, and in a variety of other appearances. And despite the fact that Maitreya is without faults, Asanga perceived him as such. Chengawa Lodra Gyaltsen proclaimed, those afflicted with bowel disease see a white conscious yellow. Those with mistaken conception see the Buddha as a charlatan. The faithful see everyone as the Buddha. This is the one you should choose, son of Shakya. In one way, even though he is without fault, even the teacher reveals himself as having faults. As the scripture states, even though he is without attachment, he reveals himself as being attached. Even though he is without fear, he reveals himself as having fear. Even though he is without ignorance, he reveals himself as ignorant. Even though he isn't crazy, he reveals himself as a crazy person. And as a cripple, although he is not crippled, he does this to subdue living beings. Also, the great Nirvana Sutra states, although I reveal complete nirvana in the realm of this world of a thousandfold universe, it is not a final complete nirvana. The Buddha gave extensive predictions such as this. The teacher himself revealed the form of a wicked person for the sake of subduing a wicked Brahman youth. He emanated as a musician to subdue the king of the Gandharvas. He emanated as an ordinary bhikshu for subduing Angulimala. If Buddhas work for the welfare of living beings in this way, revealing aspects of being attached and so forth, when they don't actually have any attachment, anger, ignorance, and so forth, then you can understand how, even though their nature is that of compassion, they are therefore without faults, they reveal the aspect of being extremely wrathful, with their faces revealing bared fangs, such as is the case of Bhairava, Vrajapani, and so forth, for the sake of subduing those of us who possess such faults. Previously in Lhasa, a wicked man named Golok Arik Topa went to the Jokang to make a simple butter lamp offering. However, other than darkness, he was unable to see the jowo, and instead saw the flesh of one quarter of a yak in lieu of the jowo. While a Kangyur Lama from Jaipur named Losang Donden Rinpoche was giving the oral transmission of the Kangyur, a monk saw a wooden basin full of meat in front of the Lama where the texts were placed, from which the Lama was eating. This illustrates how appearances are uncertain. People even saw Jetson Kappa and the great master Padmasambhava as ordinary. If you contemplate how appearances are uncertain, it also has the special quality of preventing obstacles from occurring. Train in faith as the root continuously, year after year. Begin by training in great faith in one of your gurus. Next, train in faith in all your gurus by sequentially contemplating how they are all one nature. Consider how that one Lama appeared as a master to train you in reading when you needed to be subdued through a teacher of the alphabet. How he appeared in the body of an abbot to bestow ordination as a novice and fully ordained monk when you needed vows, and how he revealed himself in the aspect of Vajra, master of Tantra, when you needed to be subdued by entering the gateway of secret Tantra. All those lamas were emanations of that single guru. Moreover, as it states, the guru himself is Mahakala. Mahakala himself is the guru. The same reasoning can be applied to all Buddhas by stating Vajra Bhairava is also your guru, and your guru is also Vajra Bhairava, and so on. The Tantra equaling the extent of space states, this migrating being is the nature of the five Buddhas, appearing like an actor in a play or a fine painting. While soul activity is called great bliss, this singular experience enacts numerous dramas. For example, the lead ritual dancer himself constructs the ritual dance and will change his hat and other clothes numerous times. Although he's labeled in numerous ways with a variety of names such as Dharmaraja, Black Hat, and so on, they are all in fact the lead dancer himself. No matter how many various mandala deities the teacher explained from the various classes of Tantra, who are all in fact nothing other than emanations of the single truth body of great bliss of the Guru. Lama Chirpa states, I make request to you, Supreme Guru, the nature of the three jewels, your aggregates, elements, sources, and limbs are the nature of the fathers and mothers of five Buddha families, the Bodhisattvas and the wrathful, powerful deities. The 100 Buddha families, the 5 Buddha families, the one, and so forth, are all emanated aspects of the Guru's truth body of great bliss. Lama Chirpa states, I make request to you, protector of the primordial union. You are the 10 million circles of mandalas, the manifestation of omniscient exalted wisdom, the principal Vajra holder, pervasive lord of 100 lineages. The basis of emanation of all the Buddhas is the Guru's truth body of great bliss. Therefore, we also call him the pervasive lord of 100 lineages. The phrase, the body, speech, and mind of all the Tathagatas of 10 directions and the 3 times Is the long wording for it and contains great significance and is part of the refuge formula that young monks first learn. Although their numbers exceed the hundreds of 10 million circles of mandalas, the projector of them all is also your guru. The retractor is also your guru, therefore they are all not separate from the guru. Geshe Jalyuwa Shunyur stated, if you assert that Vajradhara or your sole personal deity is separate and superior to your guru, realizations will never occur for that person. While Mocho Rinpoche was having a vision, he stated, great compassion one, you may be white. Vajra, you may be blue. Vajra Yogini, you may be red. But I am never separate from the appearance of the guru. Therefore, it is possible that I will become enlightened in one life. Hence, the guru is the basis of all the emanation of all the Buddhas, and if we perceive him or her as the ultimate embodiment of all the Buddhas, this is also the definitive meaning of a guru devotion, which is similar to other sayings such as the body is something, all the Buddhas, and so forth. Thus, display of various emanations for our welfare consists of emanation bodies of the guru. The emanation of your present guru depends on the complete enjoyment body, which is his foundation. That guru, who is the truth body of great bliss, arises in a physical aspect. Therefore, your ultimate ground of the guru is the truth body mind of all the Buddhas. Therefore, you must understand that the guru is inseparable from the three bodies of all the Buddhas. When we ourselves also become enlightened, we necessarily attain the state of the guru. The tea offering ritual states, grant your blessing that my mind may mix as one with his. This also states that you necessarily attain the state of the guru, but it is not like making the Lama your friend. For that reason, when it comes to our guru, according to the estimation of our perceptions, we see nothing more than the external human skin, and although we currently don't have the good fortune to see the Buddhas directly, we should cultivate a mindset that has faith that the three bodies of our guru are the embodiment of all the Buddhas and that this is the real situation. Continue with repeated meditation in this way for a period of time. For example, if you have something that is semicircular with a yellow cloth covering your room, when you recall the semicircle, you do not need to think about the yellow cloth cover separately. Your recollection of it will occur naturally. In the same way, once you merely recall your guru, you will not need to meditate, recall that he is all the Buddhas. It will happen naturally. If the blending of all the Buddhas of your guru arises in this way, it is said that you have generated the realization of proper reliance upon your spiritual guide. While undertaking the other meditations on the Lamrim, once you meditate on all the gurus during this proper reliance upon the guru and spiritual guide, you then contemplate the benefits of proper reliance and so on. Go over each point in the outline until it is complete without moving on to the others, but making sure that you've got the scriptures and meanings in your mind just right and with complete certainty. Think over the scriptures and reasoning, the examples, the verses, the historical accounts, and the biographies of the holy beings. It is also sufficient to divide the 4 sections and apply one to each section, such as Vajradhara said that your guru is Buddha, and so on. If you attain absolute certainty by contemplating these from every possible angle, you should then place your mind in single-pointed equipoise. Next is an explanation of the teachings for continuing our practice as explained above and a concise way of continuing that training. Day 11. The king of the Dharma Tsongkhapa the Great stated in his composition, The Foundation of All Good Qualities, the kind Lord is the foundation of all good qualities. Proper reliance upon the spiritual God is like the root of all of your temporary higher status and ultimate definite goodness. Furthermore, you must most definitely establish the root of your aspirations by relying upon him with completely pure thoughts and deeds. For that reason, correct your motivation thinking. I will listen to the Lamrim teachings for the sake of attaining enlightenment for the welfare of all living beings. The way of recalling his kindness has 4 sections. 1, the Guru is kinder than the Buddhas. 2, his kindness in teaching us Dharma. 3, his kindness in blessing our mental continuum. 4, his kindness in assembling disciples through material gifts. The Guru is kinder than the Buddha has 2 sections. 1, he is kinder than all the Buddhas in general. 2, he is kinder than Buddha Shakyamuni in particular. He is kinder than all the Buddhas in general. You should contemplate the Guru's good qualities to develop faith that sees the Guru as a Buddha and contemplate his kindness to develop devotion. Therefore, train in faith that sees him as the Buddha by way of recalling his good qualities and train in devotion that is superior to the Buddha by way of recalling his kindness. Furthermore, the Guru is kinder than all the Buddhas. Lama Trippa states, I make request to you, compassionate refuge and protector, You perfectly reveal the path of the Sugatas for those migrators of these degenerate times, so difficult to tame. We're not subdued by the countless Buddhists of the past. There are countless Buddhists who have already come and passed away, and there are also Buddhists of this eon who have already come, namely Karkuchanda, Kanakapamuni, and Kashyapa. And although each one has led limitless disciples, we did not have the good fortune to be included within their disciples and did not benefit at all from their emergence. Presently, we have met the Congress teachings of the Mahayana Dharma and even discovered the means of attaining liberation from samsara, which is due to the kindness of the Guru. From the perspective of good qualities, the Guru and Buddha are equal, but from the perspective of their kindness, the Guru is much kinder than all the Buddhists in general. He is kinder than Buddha Shakyamuni in particular. Previously, when our teacher took rebirth as the Brahman Samudraranu, the bodhicitta of other Buddhas had abandoned living beings during the age of strife when the lifespan was only 100 years. Yet the Brahman Samudraranu generated bodhicitta and made 500 great prayers to tame them, whereby he appeared to India as Buddha Shakyamuni. Turned the wheel of Dharma, and in the brief span of an instant led innumerable living beings to liberation and enlightenment. However, he didn't do anything for us, and we also didn't do anything for ourselves, because we were not around then. Not only that, but the successors of his teachings, such as Upagupta, had such a vast number of disciple arhats that if you use a toothpick to represent each one, they would fill to the brim of a cave 12 cubits in width, 6 cubits in height, and 18 cubits in depth. Moreover, during the previous spread of the Dharma in Tibet, under the great master Padmasambhava, there were numerous holy beings who were actual Buddhas, such as his 25 disciples during his lifetime. Yet we didn't have the good fortune to be subdued at that time either. During the later period of the Dharma, there were 5 original great beings of the Shakya tradition, as well as Marpa, Milarepa, and so on. Again, there were innumerable scholars and siddhas of the Kadam tradition, such as Atisha the Great and so on, as well as the arrival of Jamgon, Tsongkhapa, father and sons, who were innumerable like stars in the sky. At that time as well, we were staying in the lower realms and so forth. So once again, we weren't around at the right time. For that reason, this present Guru of ours, who is teaching you the Dharma, and the Lama, who is teaching you the unmistaken path to liberation and omniscience, are kinder than all the Buddhists. Nagarjuna's 5 stages also states, he is a self-arisen Bhagawan, one with the supreme deity. Because he is the best treasure for instructions, Vajra Master surpasses the deity. For example, the Guru is like someone giving food to another on the verge of dying, and the Buddhas are like someone giving a mountain of succulent meat to another who is already prosperous. His kindness in teaching us Dharma. Our teacher endured great hardships for the sake of the Dharma. He offered his son, his queen, and even drove 1,000 iron spikes into his body, used his body as wicks to ignite 1,000 butter lamps, and so on, for the sake of each verse of the Dharma. A Tantra states, set out in search for the holy Dharma, even if you must cross an ocean of swords and a pit of blazing fire until you reach the other side. Although we should undertake such hardships for the sake of the Dharma, we can't endure even the prick of a single needle, not to mention 1,000 iron spikes. Yet, due to the kindness of the Guru, we don't need to endure such hardships, and instead have the opportunity to listen to the Mahayana Dharma, such as this because of his great kindness. Panchen Losang Chirgyans proclaimed. Previously, the Muni underwent hardships such as jumping into a pit of blazing fire, pounding 1,000 sharp iron spikes, and so forth, for the sake of each and every verse of the Dharma. But these days, we don't need such intense perseverance, for we receive a multitude of vast and profound sutras and tantras from your great kindness, Fatherly Guru. I know of no way to possibly repay your kindness. Previously, Atisha the Great endured extended hardship by traveling for 13 months across the ocean of the Golden Isle for the sake of receiving the Dharma, these stages of the path to enlightenment. The Lotsawas, realized translators of the past, collected whatever gold they could as well as their possessions to give as offerings, while forsaking any regard for crossing 3 narrow river gorges, the difficulty of traveling vast plains, the fear of humans and non-humans, and the fatigue of heat and cold. Having forsaken any regard for their lives, they travel a great distance under such circumstances all the way to the land of India. At that time, going to India was not like it is now. Those paths are blocked by snow with no escape. Therefore, they had to take the roundabout way to Nepal and travel by foot. Therefore, it is not like the comfortable traveling on our modern roads. There is nothing easier than traveling by train or car. Although they had arrived in India, the land of Dharma, initially they were not permitted to listen to the Dharma and had to learn the language from the ground up. Next, they had to listen, contemplate, and meditate, and so on, while enduring great hardship. As it stands right now, we don't have to endure even a small portion of such hardships. The fact that you can easily see the text in the Tibetan language and so forth is all due solely to the kindness of the Guru. Atisha the Great stated, "It is due to your great merit that you have discovered the essential meaning without having to undergo hardships. Therefore, sincerely apply yourself well." Gelek Chögyam stated, even the sutra requested by the wrathful one states, although you may unwaveringly present offerings with devotion to the Guru, from whom you have received transmissions for as many eons as there are letters in the scriptures, you could not finish. In short, this means that even by offering and venerating for 6 eons, you could not repay the kindness that comes from receiving even just a 6-syllable mantra. The essence of nectar, stage of the path, states, this way, if a man is suffering in prison and someone ransoms him from that prison, establishes him in the most wondrous enjoyments, this would indeed be an act of great kindness. In the same way, the Guru has revealed to us the means of liberation from the 3 lower realms and kindly bestow the enjoyments of all we desire as a temporary leisure and endowment of gods and men. Next, they teach us the excellent, unsurpassed ways and means of pacifying all the misery of samsara nirvana and lead us to the sacred state of the 3 bodies. How could this not be the greatest kindness? If it is said that we cannot repay their kindness even in as many eons, as there are numbers of letters in the teaching of even one verse, then how could we repay the kindness of teaching the noble path in its entirety? Therefore, the Guru's kindness is greater than that of the Buddha. Further, as I already explained, Atisha the Great also said, I don't have any good qualities. These are my Guru so-and-so's good qualities. The fact that you can at least read Dharma books every day is not something that came about all on your own. It is due to the kindness of your Guru. Not only that, but your understanding of how to listen, contemplate, and meditate on the Dharma, such as the stages of the path to enlightenment, is also due to the kindness of the Guru. The fact that we currently do not have to experience the suffering of carrying out some obligatory chores for someone such as an older sibling is also due to the kindness of the abbot who bestowed our vows. The fact that we have currently obtained a human life of leisure and opportune endowment is once again due to the kindness of our Guru. Not only that, but whatever excellence we have is due to the kindness of the Lama. Therefore, from the perspective of his or her kindness, the Guru surpasses all the Buddhas. The commentary on Dolungpa's stages of the teaching also states, even if it were appropriate to reduce the wages set for the welfare of the excellent expositions, how could you possibly dispute that even the price of a kingdom itself would be enough? His kindness and blessing are mental continuum. The Guru doesn't merely teach us Dharma, he also blesses our mental continuum. Whatever virtuous mind you develop, such as having the wish to study, contemplate, and meditate on a particular text, this is all due to the Guru blessing your mental continuum. When you don't understand the meaning of the Lamrim and so forth, or when you meditate but don't develop realizations, if you supplicate the Guru with great force, you will come to understand them all without obstruction. Not only that, but all the undesirable things of this life will be immediately pacified by supplicating the Guru. Geshe Kamlungpa, 1025 to 1115, was seized by a harmful spirit, and although nothing else was of any help, it was pacified by reciting the name mantra of his Guru, Dontopa. In India, Pancha Naropa was the guardian of the northern gateway of Nalanda Monastery and was unrivaled in debate. He engaged in a debate with a certain non-Buddhist scholar, and through the lines of argument, it seemed as though Naropa was losing ground in the debate. He supplicated his Guru Tilopa, whereby Tilopa came to the crown of his head, and he was able to defeat the non-Buddhist in debate. Dombipa was also Atisha's Guru, and although Atisha had not actually met him even once, he made supplications to him. One night, Atisha had a dream in which he met a bhikshu eating the flesh of a human hand, whereupon he thought, I wonder why a bhikshu is eating human flesh. The bhikshu said, does the Buddha make mistakes? Atisha replied, a Buddha does not make mistakes. Well then, you should also eat this, replied the bhikshu, whereupon he cut off one of the fingers and Atisha ate it. Although this occurred in a dream, the following day Atisha gave birth to an extraordinary concentration in his mental continuum. Afterward, a mantrika was supplicating Dombipa, and Dombipa said, You and I don't have any karmic connection. I have a disciple named Jnana, and in this very moment, I bless his mental continuum. You and he have a karmic connection, so go to him and make supplications. Accordingly, he went before Atisha, presented a mandala, and made supplications. Atisha said, "Who sent you to me?" And when the mantrika explained the previous events, Atisha realized that it was Don Ipa who had blessed him. Jejung Gangpas Gelug Gyatso made Perchung Ngawan Jampa 1682 to 1762 memorize Manjushri's oral instructions by the fifth Dalai Lama, Ngawan Losang Gyatso. Later, Perchog carried some dried yak down to Gelug Gyatso's mountain retreat. His guru gave him some inner offerings to drink that he had blessed. Afterward, while Perchog was at Dharma assembly, he devowed renunciation and was overcome with the weariness of samsara that could not be suppressed, so that all he did was shed tears. In my own case,
Gelek is here.
thank you.
Yeah, please have a seat. Oh, good evening, Romasi. Good evening, Tom. Good evening, Elise. Good evening, Pati, Panditji. Good evening, Jill. Good evening, Karen. Good evening, Yusha. Yusha. What was how you spell it? Yeshua. Good evening, David. Good evening, Anthony. Good evening, Hamula, Venerable Hamula. Good evening, Mary. Julie, good evening. Helen, good evening. Govina, Venerable Shukila, good evening. Bodhisattva Patrick. Good evening, Romini. Anyone watching on YouTube? Good evening. So, Alhamdulillah, how many pages you read?
16 pages, Gishla.
15?
16.
Oh, 16. Good.
We're on day 11.
Day 11. Oh, yeah, day 11. Oh, no, day 11. Day 11 already started?
Yes, Gishla.
Any questions?
Yes, Geshe, there is a question. It's a little bit long. So on page 197, it says, in these degenerate times, Buddhas continue to work for the welfare of all. So first, what does degenerate times really mean?
Okay.
Second,
Hmm?
why isn't the work of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and great teachers like Atisha, Tsongkhapa, His Holiness, and many excellent teachers enough to prevent degeneration? And third, what will Maitreya do differently, or how will things be different to end degeneration?
Oh, yeah. So I don't remember all of them, but I remember some, but not all of them. Degeneration times refers to these five, including 5 things. degeneration beings, degenerations, afflictions, degeneration time, so Nimanga, probably degeneration lifespan, so one I do remember one. Tamala, you remember? Chukila, you remember?
Sentient beings,
Oh,
degeneration of sentient beings.
well, I already said that.
Oh, it didn't, okay.
Degeneration of beings,
Oh,
degeneration of time, degeneration of afflictions, degeneration of lifespan. So one
View.
view. How is say in Tibetan?
I don't have it in Tibetan.
Okay. Usually view means tawa, I don't recall that. Anyway, so being here 20 years, one is left from my library. One is already left from my library. 4 of them are still around. So, these are considered as like 5 degenerations. Nimangado. So now, Lamala, Chukila, can you explain in English what each means? You have explanations?
I don't really have the explanations. I just had the list.
How's about Lamala?
yes, okay, for degeneration of afflictions or afflicted minds, your afflictions and your delusions are so strong that they're hard to abandon. Degeneration of view is that you don't understand right view or karma, so you commit the 10 non-virtues. Degeneration of lifespan, your lifespan decreases from 100 years to 10 years. Degeneration of times is that earthquakes, famine, flooding, and war become more frequent. And degeneration of sentient being is that sentient beings decline in intellect, physical form, and health, are thick-skulled, and many have wrong view and an aversion to religion. Those are the 5 degenerations.
Does that ring any bell? Say like the different like 2,500 years ago. Many different views now we have. Then we don't have those kind of different views. Lifespan, generally speaking, when the Shakyamuni Buddha descended to our world, at that time, average people live up to 100 years. So now, so there's like, so that lifespan, I'm not sure how in the West you, I say statistic. Yeah, statistic. So based on what, or like average, or like few people do live up to 100 years, but generally speaking. So then there's like so much more distractions we have now. compared to 2,500 years ago. So much more distractions, because no need explanations because we all know much more distractions. And then, more, what do you think? There's more risks for the environment, that's for definite. There's a greater risk for environment if one of the nuclear bombs goes off, pretty much finished. So that risk doesn't exist 2,500 years ago. So then different theory, different views, everything's kind of sorry to say, but went down the hill. So, and probably, I'm not sure more war, but there's more risks. Ancient time, there's war, but there's not relatively less risk. So now there's more risk that the war could wipe out whole humanity face of Earth. That kind of war risk doesn't exist a long time ago. Because of many distractions, that's why it's harder to concentrate even short period of time because there's so much going on in the community, in the society, in the family, in the countries, all over the world. There's so much going on. Fear, anxiety, misinformation, distrust. There's all kind of, in each and every country. There's many things, and information is very rapid. Like within the second or within a minute, everybody knows everything. So among those, some of them are how much really truth in there, how much there's all kind of things. It's harder to keep our mind focused, even as the period, in one of the texts, it says even when you are milking the cows, how long it takes probably depends how well that you know how to milk the cow. If you're a newcomer, it'll take longer, but experienced farmer milking cow all the time, how long it takes that time? I'll say 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I'm not sure. During that's an example that's been used in the text. During that time, during that duration of somebody milking the cow, we can even keep our mind focused on even that long. So it's much harder to keep our mind focused because we have to put more effort because there are more distractions. Many cause, much more cause and condition for stress, anxiety, fear than a long time ago. That's why the degeneration means the negative mind is stronger, probably be there longer time, so then harder to abandon. So then, people are going far away from the religions, so because there's so many. Unfortunately, many bad things happen in the name of religions, but there are many bad things happen, and people kind of lose their faith in religion. So it's all unfortunate. Compared to 2,500 years, they're just based on Shakyamuni Buddhas, when the Shakyamuni Buddhas came to this world. So they're much longer than that. The human been I'm not sure how long, how many years the human was. I'm not sure how many years, millions of years, or millions or billions of years. So life become much more complicated. Then life was much simpler. Now my life is much more complicated. So this is called degeneration time. So then certain things, everything that begin, it will eventually it has to end. Everything that begin, it will end. Everything that grow will end. So that change is not. Yeah, eventually the universe will evolve. Maybe out of fire or out of water or out of something, it will end. Somehow it will not going to be here forever because everything changed. So then, so the second part of the question is like how to stop. I don't think there's like, yeah. So only thing that we can hope. So like, and that's that change. First, we need to change. If we hope for some change within the family, within the community, within the society, first we need to change. So there's something that you can do. You don't have to rely on somebody else. Something that you can do. You don't have to. Your delusion doesn't have to be degenerated one. You can still walk and try to control them. You could you could live longer. So there's the generally speaking. Okay. So the second question, Thomas, is how to stop.
The second part of it is why isn't the work of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and great teachers like Atisha, Tsongkhapa, His Holiness, and many excellent teachers enough to prevent degeneration?
So because of causality, because of like because of causality, that even you get enlightened. In the first place, people should not, people should not generate negative energy out of physical body and out of their mind. So because of causality, that's the only reason, because of causality. So even though they are enlightened, when it comes down on causality, there's nothing much they can do. There's nothing much they can do. Because Buddhism, we don't believe in creator. It's not, you are not created by somebody else. You are the product of your own actions. You control your destiny. Nobody else controls your destiny. You are the one that make choice next moment of your happiness. Nobody else decide. So we are byproduct of our own actions. So because of that, even enlightened beings, even there's many enlightened beings, Lama Tsongkhapa, Lama Atisha, all of that, yeah, they very much wish. Probably you wish too. You wish probably to end the hunger in the world. I'm sure that you also wish to end the suffering of the world. But practically, it's hard. It's very hard. It's not easy. It's very hard. So we have to be practical. So that's the why. Even though enlightened beings are very powerful, they can basically everything is a byproduct of something. Common action, uncommon, individual actions, common action, collective actions, the result of that. So that's true. If you look at very closely, every problem that we face now is the product of action. It's not like somebody decided to pollute the water. It's actions driven by greed, attachment to power, many things, it's like the byproduct action, collective action, individual actions. So, but that's why it's because of that, they can do not much. Okay. Then third questions. But you don't have to believe. Please think. I'm not asking you to believe. So no, that's what I said. Yeah. Most of that is based on knowledge, in the Buddha's teaching. So when I look at myself, yeah, I am solely responsible for my next moment of happiness. And I'm solely responsible for my next moment of suffering. I'm solely responsible. Nobody else responsible for that. So that is very clear. No need any more explanation. That's very clear, very clear. So how I become unhappy due to my actions. That's how I become unhappy. How I become happy due to my actions. That I become happy sometimes because I become happy due to my actions, my own thinking, my own actions. So that sometimes not happy due to my own actions. Of course, conditions, the main cause is the action, then conditions. And not able to be mindful when I approach the conditions, they're not able to be mindful. So then then do cause difficulties. Okay. So then third one, just please analyze. I'm not asking you to believe. So due to causalities, Lama Atisha, Lama Tsongkhapa, even though they are worried about our well-being of all sentient beings day and night, so that's exactly what we can do. So you get maximum benefit, like doing that, you get maximum benefit. But practically, a long time ago, I was in India, train station in India. So there's one little boy, is kind of like mentally not stable and running back and forth in the train stations. Broke my heart. Practically, there's really nothing much I can do. So I give some money, even doesn't recognize what he's getting on his hand, not able to recognize what it is, probably don't understand what it is. So then my second thought, I was worried that someone going to steal. So anyway, so there's so much practical, there's so much you can do, but mentally, there's no limit. You can do so much mentally. And you get maximum benefit. If you become a better person, if you become more kind, more compassionate, people doesn't have to be fear of your presence on this planet. People doesn't have to be fear losing their possession, losing their life. Because of your presence on this planet, nobody has to fear because you are not going to harm anybody. Because you dedicate the whole your life working for the welfare of sentient beings. So that is the benefit. That's the benefit. So even though you get the opportunity to take something you never ever do, never ever harm people, their possessions, their relatives, their happiness, you're always worried about their happiness. So you do something that helps their happiness. So that's the benefit of practicing bodhicitta. So third question.
Yes, the third question is, what will Maitreya do differently, or how will things be different to end degeneration?
When the degeneration, I said there's no way to end degeneration. There you're talking about, generally speaking, you can prevent evolution of the world. Nobody can prevent that. It will happen. It's only a matter of time. So that's the fact. That's the fact. It's nothing to do with religious belief. That's the fact. nobody can prevent four seasons. It will happen whether you like or not. If you don't like winter, it will happen next year. There will be winter. The trees grows in your backyard springtime, then summertime, produce a lot of flowers. Some point, the tree is going to lose all the leaf, and the flower, it becomes like a skeleton. You can't prevent that. So then it will come back. It's a cycle. There's a cycle that you can't prevent. It's a cycle. Cycle that grows, become very beautiful, then fall down all the leaves. And sometimes you feel like your life is like that, just skeleton that you don't believe or nothing will grow. No, then springtime, same tree that looks like exactly like a skeleton, that even doesn't have one single leaf. There'll be like springtime, there'll be hundreds of leaves, and there'll be a lot of fruit. We'll go through cycle. I think we can prevent that. So I'm not sure. It's not, this generation time is not based on Shakyamuni Buddha or Maitreya Buddha. So then when the lifespan become like 10 years, then only people live 10 years, then probably Maitreya Buddha will descend to the world. So during that time, the longest lifespan will be 10 years. People don't live longer than 10 years. That's the maximum life they can live. So then after that, then another cycle begin. So then people will live long, probably thousands of years. Then it goes to the cycle. So nobody can prevent. So I don't know like how the material will do differently. So I have no answer. I'm not sure. I don't know. So any of you know, please tell me. I have no idea what the Buddha will do differently. So, yeah. All right. Dine Chukila, what else? Anything else?
No
Yeah,
more.
if you want to say something, please do. So maybe, if any of you want to say something about the 5D generation time, please welcome. If any of you want to discuss, if any of you have any ideas how to prevent them, so probably good to know. So, yes, Elise, please go.
Yeshua, I guess one of my questions is that, we are all encouraged to look forward to the time when Maitreya will come back.
Well,
Rinpoche, Lama Zopa Rinpoche wants to build a big statue so we all can focus and think about that time. I'm wondering what is that representing? Why are we encouraged to look forward to the time of Maitreya coming back? What is going to be different? Does it just signal the beginning of a better cycle? Is that what it is, or is it something different?
where else we go?
I don't know. I just wonder what does, and we are
Well,
taught
very
that
good, Elise. Wonderful question. Very good. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Wonderful questions. Very practical question. Very good. So, any connection we make in this life with the teachings, any tendency that we have in our mind stream, in order to that tendency to utilize that tendency in the fullest, how is it, fullest? So then it will be wonderful to meet, to be in environment where that same, there's like causes the condition, that tendency to be fully utilized. That's the main reason that many practitioners, looking forward to become human again when the material Buddha came. So then continuously continue the path. So that's why building a material statues, bringing material statue around the monastery every year during the great Melon festivals that was held every year after the Tibetan New Year, all the monasteries. So then last day of that great prayer festivals, so the material Buddha statue was carried out around, circling around the monasteries, then do all kind of like prayers. So to create the cause to be born in material Buddha's lifetime. So then continue the path that you already started. So to gain the full access to that tendency, to utilize that tendency to then go deeper into the path. So that's why, bringing material Buddha statue around the temple, the monastery, building a material Buddha statues is just creating a cause. There's not just way to create a cause. You can, also through meditation, there's many different meditation that you can do to make that connections.
Thank you,
Does it
Geshe.
make sense?
Thank you so much.
So six different realms, 3 lower realms, 3 upper realms. 3 lower realms, there's not much opportunity to utilize that tendency. Now you see, if the animals carrying some tendency of the Dharma teachings, now in that life it's very hard to utilize because everything is written in the language that you don't speak even a word. So how you going to learn? That's hard. Then that other 2 realms, there's like so much sufferings that you can't even think about Dharma at all. There's sufferings that's like overwhelmed. 3 higher realms, human, then the demigod, then God there. So there, that's not God realm, demigod realm, not much opportunity to practice Dharma. Only the best is that the human is the best. You can learn, even though you are not Tibetan, you can still learn Tibetan language. Even though I'm not British, but I can still learn English. I'm not American, but you can learn American language. You can learn Tibetan language. You can learn all kind of language. You can learn Tibetan letter. There's proof. We don't need to prove that. There are people who speak American, who speak fluent Tibetans, who can read Tibetan, who can write Tibetans. It's exactly like Tibetans. So because you are human, that's why you can learn. You can learn. Okay, so then there's a human, there's the best. Maybe there are, other 3 different types of humans that in the desire realm, probably there's probably not much opportunity even there too. Not much opportunity there. So that's all making the connections. Elise, thank you very much for the question. Wonderful practical questions. So creating the connections for what? To utilize tendency that you have now, your tendency you're living or you're printing on your mental continuum, and to hoping to have full access to that tendency to utilize and go deeper into the path. Okay? Anybody else?
Geshe, there's another question.
Yeah, very good, wonderful. Yeah.
As I listen to and read the text, I don't think of them as literal. I try to place the lessons and examples as metaphors for the world I live in today. In
Oh,
this way, they seem real to me. Is this the wrong way to look at the teachings? So many of the teachings seem pertinent to how we find ourselves today. Am I missing important knowledge by neglecting some of the history? I worry that I am not meditating on the exact language and historic connections.
Shukila, what do you say? Amula, what do you say? Anybody else? So that the person is worried that not doing all the practice and studying Tibetan language.
No, Geshe, the person is worried because when they read the text and some of the stories, they don't think of them as literally something that maybe that happened, but more like stories that are there to help us understand and to
Oh, that's good. That's good. Then what else?
just wondering if this is the wrong way to look at the teachings, because this person finds them very helpful, but just wonders if they're missing something important by neglecting some of the history.
Long as you are seeing something positive, so I don't think you are missing anything. Long as you are seeing something good, so that helps. Mainly you to become more compassionate, more kind, warm-hearted. So that means you are not missing anything, so Buddha gives us full freedom to analyze. You don't have to believe whatever text says. You don't have to believe. If you don't want to believe, you are not looking at the wrong way, because you are taking your time, you are questioning. That's exactly what Shakyamuni Buddha wants you to do. Question, analyze. So that you are not looking at the teaching in the wrong way. Probably you are looking, you have full freedom to analyze and questions till it makes sense to you. So don't worry. Okay. Yeah. Very good question. Wonderful.
No more questions right now, Geshe.
Anybody want to say something? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so then, Lamula, please, now we still have time, so. Yeah, can you please continue to read a few more?
So in the hard copy version, we're in the bottom of page 214. You have the PDF version. We're about, one paragraph before the section titled His Kindness in Assembling Disciples Through Material Gifts. So I think we stopped before the last sentence in the last full paragraph on page 214.
Sounds like we are still on Guru devotions.
Yes.
Okay.
In my own case, by merely seeing the face of my precious Guru, Dagpo Lama Rinpoche, my refuge and protector, I was nearly moved to tears. Previously, the same thing also happened to Chusang Lama Geshe Gyatso Rinpoche. What need is there to mention actually living with the Guru? Although you may not reside in his presence, if you know how to make supplications, you will continuously receive his blessings. Mahasiddha Tilopa said to Naropa, the very best of all enhancements is the Guru. Among all the means of dispelling obstacles and enhancements for our practice of Dharma, having faith and devotion for your Guru and making supplications to him are the very best. His kindness in assembling disciples through material gifts.
Please don't worry. If you don't understand everything that says these are the people who understand the importance of Guru devotions. So if you don't understand that now, so it's okay not to worry. Just listen and just read, and at least you have some ideas. Then later on, we can analyze. You can read again. You can analyze. Okay, so It doesn't mean that, as I said, that you don't have to believe everything that you read. You should take your time, analyze. So then, as I mentioned last Wednesday, it's important for sake of your own benefit. So study the 10 qualifications. In the Guru Puja, it mentioned quite clearly the qualification of Vajra Master and qualification of teacher based on Sutra and a path. So need to study all of them. So then you have some foundations to analyze before you decide to accept him or her as your teacher. Okay, so you have some knowledge. Yeah, Lamulatini, please continue.
His kindness in assembling disciples through material gifts. Few disciples, you should act in accordance with the following lines. Having gathered a circle of living beings through initially giving them material gifts, may I satisfy them with Dharma.
So see, like there's a stories that I think is like, I believe it's Lama Marpa, the Tibetan master. So teacher of Milarepa. Milarepa's guru. I think went to India like 7 times or 8 times. He went to India to receive teachings. So then, before he goes, he's trying to collect the gold. That's a precious metal. So he's trying to gather the gold so to make offering to Naropa, Lama Naropa. So there's the Lama Marpa's main guru, the Indian master. So one time Marpa managed to get a good portion of gold. So then he went to India to see the Lama Naropa. Turns out the Lama Naropa is living on some mountains. So then Lama Marpa said, "Oh, your Tibetan child came again?" Lama was yes. Then Lama Marpa offered that gold. The gold that he collected offered to Lama Naropa. So Naropa took it and just threw them into the jungle. Lama Marpa thought, "Oh, I worked so hard for that gold." So Lama treated it like nothing, like dirt. Lama Naropa realized right away Marpa's intentions, then took Marpa to near place where he's living on the mountain. He said, "Look, under this ground is all gold, solid gold." Lama Marpa clear some leaves and say, "Look, through this, all the ground is gold." This one is not like the qualified Lama doesn't demand wealth, does not demand wealth at all because they renounce wealth. They renounce wealth. They have zero interest. They have no interest. So there's another Lama, Tiwochupe Rinpoche, there's a great master from Jemu Monastery in Tibet. So he was meditating on the mountains. And people find out where he's meditating. So then people come with offerings, tsamba and tsamba, the roasted barley flour that Tibetan eat called tsamba. So then the butter that wrapped in skin. There's no nice looking package. It's just wrapped in animal skin, like ball. So people bring that, tsamba, bring that. Then that's where people find out, maybe shepherd find out somebody living there. Turns out there's a Tiwochupe Rinpoche. So bring them there. So minute they leave, Tiwochupe Rinpoche throw all of them down the hill. He throw all the butter and all the tsamba, just throw them there. So then he moves somewhere else. Then people find out again where he lives. Eventually, then when people come to make offering, and he has only few leaves in his bottom pot, and they put some kind of feather there, and he kind of like running around the stick, and he's running around here and there. And people thought Teacher Rinpoche went out of his mind. And they went to His Holiness Senior Tutu Tijan Rinpoche, request to do some prayers for Teacher Rinpoche. They thought he went out of his mind because he's living on the mountain. Tijan Rinpoche told them, because you guys bothering him, is not letting him meditate. So that's why he doesn't want any visitor. He doesn't need any prayer. You need prayer. He doesn't need any prayer. So you don't need to worry about him. He's 100% fine. So the reason he's doing that, because you people are bothering him, not letting him meditate. That's what happened. You don't need to request prayer for him. So that, is a true practitioner, qualified teacher. They 100% focus on their practice, meditations, no, nothing else. They have no any other interest at all. So that's why they roam in mountain to mountain. So just story. So they're like qualified teacher. They have no interest in power and wealth. They have no interest. They have zero interest. So then why all these stories? It's mainly doing for yourself. It's not doing for somebody else. You're doing for yourself. So it's hard to understand. That's why I'm saying you don't have to believe right away. You can analyze. It's hard to understand, but that's what it's for. It's for your own practice. It's for your own spiritual practice, nothing else. Okay. So, but you don't have to take my word. You can analyze. Right. That's what is happening here when the Alhamdulillah reached. So I thought I should explain something. And then please continue.
There is a story from the past about a family that sent a person to Dagpo to see my refuge and protector, Dagpo Lama Rinpoche, in his hermitage. At which time Dagpo Rinpoche offered the man excellent provisions, whereby he developed faith in Dagpo Rinpoche.
Let's go 1 second. I remember one story. There's one family back in Tibet. So, family also have there are spiritual figures, beings, like a person. So they consider them as a family lama. So, they invite to their family. Turns out one time there's a lama, it's like family lama. So, so that's where you offer the best meal. And that lama, what he does, he stay there and do meditation and prayer. That's what him or her does. So there's a mother doing that. So then one time the mother has to go to do some farm work, and not very far from the house, down the hill. So then the mother has one daughter. The mother asked the daughter, daughter said, I want to come. Mother said, no, you stay home. I will go. And said, I don't want to stay. He said, and the mother said, look at the lama, make sure he doesn't steal anything. One hand you consider that person as your lama, another hand that you don't 100% trust that. So they asked the daughter to stay there, make sure the lama doesn't steal anything. So then mother went, so then of course the daughter started looking at the lama's part, making sure that he's not stealing anything. Lama is just doing prayers and nothing. Then daughter shouted from the house, Mother, I'm going to come. Lama is not stealing anything. So she's kind of shouting. The lama heard. That's our job. So sometimes so that's what I'm saying. The Guru devotion is not easy. Moving on.
In particular, you should recall the kindness of how a teacher cares for his pupils with all their needs, and how your own teacher did the same thing by giving you food, clothing, a place to stay, even down to your bedding.
So it's not teaching. So in my case, I went to monastery when I was 7 years old. I only stayed with my parents 7 years. After that, my life was in the monastery. When I went to the monastery, I was 7 years old. My teacher is my parent. It's my parent. It's my teacher who's teaching me how to read, how to write, all the prayers at the same time, and giving me, bathing me, and feeding me, clothing me. Completely strange. It's not my relatives. I'm not related to my teacher. We are not from the same hometown. We are totally different. But at that time, I remember this. I have this cat caught this skin disease everywhere. There's sore everywhere with the paws. My whole body is like. So I remember that my teacher bathed and put it into plastic bag because I can't sleep on the bed sheet because it will ruin all the bed sheets because there's a lot of blood and pus coming out of my sore. And I was just put into plastic bag. So then there's one monk, and my teacher called, he give shot. And my teacher called him when I was asleep, otherwise I'll run away. So then, every week he comes. So then sometimes I wake, so then they have to hold me down then give the penicillin shot.
Penicillin.
Yeah, probably a lot of them. So, but my parents, they are like thousands and thousands of miles away from the monastery. So not just teaching, so they're then of course you do remember their kindness because you are treated like their own child. So since you are 7, then after that I came to United States, so I only stayed with my parents only 7 years. So the most of my life I spent in the monastery. So then when I have students, I treat them the same way because I don't question, are they my relatives? Are they from my same hometown? No, that tradition passed down. So you treat them like that, try to care them like your. So probably it's not like teaching, there's many other kindness that, involved, okay?
Apply this to each and every one of your teachers by considering what each one gave you, thinking, this Lama showed me kindness in this way, and this one in that way. In short, you should contemplate the human body that I currently have obtained, eating the teachings of the Buddha, being counted among the members of the Sangha, in particular meeting the teachings of Jetson Kappa and so forth, are all due to the kindness of my Guru. You should also recite requests for the kindness of your Guru. Furthermore, you should recite the verses from the Array of Stock Sutra, where youthful Sudana recalled the kindness of his spiritual guide as follows. I have come to this place after single-pointedly contemplating my spiritual masters who teach the Dharma, thoroughly reveal the good qualities of phenomena, and then reveal the Bodhisattva's way of life in its entirety. Because they generate these qualities, they are like a mother. Because they give the milk of good qualities, they are like wet nurses. They thoroughly train me in the limbs of enlightenment. These spiritual masters expel the aspects of harm. They are like doctors who free me from old age and death. They send down a rain of nectar like Indra, the Lord of gods. Like the full moon, they cause the virtuous Dharma to flourish. Like the illuminating sun, they reveal the way to peace. Toward friends and enemies, they are like mountains. Their minds are unassailable like an ocean. They completely protect me like a boat. Thinking in this way, I, Sudana, have come here. These bodhisattvas have developed my mind. They have produced my enlightenment as a son of the Buddha. I praise these spiritual masters as Buddhas. With these virtuous thoughts, I have come here. By protecting the world, they are like heroes and have become my captains, protectors, and refuge. They are the eyes that produce happiness in me. With such a mind, I honor these spiritual masters.
Oh yeah, Ramala. So we'll stop here. So thank you very much for all of you coming here. So it's time now. How many more pages to go? Everybody's going very quiet.
439.
439 more page to go.
Yeah, so almost halfway.
Are you enjoying reading this? All of you enjoying reading? Yeah, very good. So you learn the history, so then, as I said, you don't have to believe everything you read. If you have questions, if you want to analyze, absolutely fine. The Shakyamuni give us full freedom to do, encourage us to do, so nothing wrong, okay? Don't think, oh, you are doing something wrong because you don't believe. Take your time, analyze. No need to believe right away. So Shakyamuni, Buddha, founder of the Buddhist path, doesn't want you to believe right away. You need to analyze. Give us full freedom, analyze questions till you reach, till you think this is correct. So then you can accept. Okay. The same like when you buy a gold, previous time, ancient time, not nowadays. You make sure that the gold is pure. You burn them first, cut them, then rub them, make sure there's nothing mixed. Then that's how you find the pure gold. Similarly, whether this teaching is authentic, pure or not, you need to analyze exactly the way you buy the gold. So in modern times, when you buy a house, then you inspect every line exactly. You need to inspect, okay? So then after that, if you find, oh, it's very beneficial, it's very good, so then you accept, okay? So this is the Buddhist way to accepting teachings, Buddhist way, so not just based on mere belief, Gelek thagam chenam ji seje dawe seje to lebata la ngai lawa Chinese, Shakyamuni's Buddha word in the sutra. Kuchi means out of faith. Don't accept out of faith. Why? At the moment may not be that bad. Down the road, it will cause problem. Down the road. Because your mind start to think, you can stop. So then you have to have answer. That's why right from the beginning, analyze thoroughly, not just analyze, thoroughly. Then accept. Okay. If you find, oh, now that's the pure gold, then you can buy. So similar, okay. Thank you very much. So I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying reading this text. So I think the Venerable Chukila is the one who suggests. Is it correct? Yeah, so good one. So it's a little bit too large books, but it's a good one. So we learn so much, okay? Yeah, thank you very much. And you all have a wonderful night. And again, thank you very much for coming to the class every Wednesday night. And greatly appreciate it for your interest to this textbook. And hopefully it will leave positive imprint in your mind stream. Okay, so someday it might become handy. Okay, oh yeah. So now alhamdulillah, dedication.
Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may we quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra too realize things as they are, we too dedicate all these merits in the best way that we may follow their perfect example. We dedicate all these fruits of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by the victorious ones as gone of the 3 times, so we might perform good works. We dedicate whatever virtues we have ever collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, in particular for the essential teachings of perfect pure Losang Drapa to shine forever. Now the long life prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. In the land encircled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrei Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. And one for Sarah J. Kitzer Rinpoche Jetsun Losang Gelek, the one who mastered his speech at a very young age, the one with great patience, received the name Awatare, the one with great precision who spread the teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa on bliss and void, Lama ornament of the yellow hat tradition, please remain until samsara ends. For Lama Zopa Rinpoche, who uphold the subduers more away, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Majjhima's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplished magnificent prayers, honoring the 3 jewels, Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. And of course, 7 Tara mantras for Geshe and Geshe samples. Long, healthy, happy lives. Om Tare Tu Re Soha. 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 Om Tare Tu Re Soha.
Okay, good night. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you,
Good
Geshe-la.
night,
Thank you,
Geshe-la.
Geshe-la.
Thank you,
Good night,
Geshe-la.
Thank you,
Geshe-la.
Lama.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Donna.
Bye.
Good
Thank you,
night.
Donna.